Most plot holes are not missing events, they are missing reasons. That matters because the wrong diagnosis makes a draft bigger without making it more believable. A character does something impossible, so the writer adds a secret tunnel, then a corrupt guard, then a power cut. The scene has more plot, but the reader still does not believe the choice. Before you rebuild the story, ask 3 questions. Did the character know enough? Did they want something badly enough? And did the previous scene make this choice feel inevitable? Those questions separate the event from the reason. The event is what physically happens on the page. The reason is the chain of knowledge, pressure, and consequence that makes this particular character choose it now. Readers will accept an unlikely event when the reason is precise. They will reject an ordinary event when the choice feels author-controlled. Here is a fictional demo. No customer manuscript is shown. In Chapter 18 of The Glass Orchard, Mara enters an abandoned greenhouse after midnight to steal a ledger that could clear her brother. Earlier chapters established that the security alarm arms at 9. But Mara simply opens a side door and walks in. The event is useful, the reason is missing. The surface fix is to invent a second entrance. But first, test what Mara knows. Does she know when the alarm resets? Does she know which circuit controls the West Wing? Has the story shown where that knowledge came from? If the answer is no, the repair may be one earlier clue, not a new subplot. In this demo, we add a maintenance note to Chapter 16. The West Circuit trips in heavy rain and takes 9 minutes to reset. Mara notices the note because she grew up helping her father repair the greenhouse. Now the method is possible, and her knowledge belongs to the character, rather than arriving exactly when the plot needs it. There is a useful restraint here. Do not turn the clue into a page of technical explanation. The reader needs to understand the option, not become an alarm engineer. One visible note, one memory, and one later decision are enough. The clue earns its place because it changes what Mara can choose. But possible is not the same as believable. The second question is desire and cost. Why would Mara risk arrest tonight? If the ledger can wait until morning, the danger feels manufactured. So we look backward again. In the previous scene, her brother's lawyer says the police will charge him at sunrise unless they can prove the orchard accounts were altered. The deadline gives Mara a reason to act now. Then we make the choice cost something. Cutting the West Circuit will also shut down the greenhouse heaters. The rare trees her father spent 20 years preserving may not survive the cold. Mara is not choosing between action and inconvenience. She is choosing between her brother's freedom and the last living work her father left behind. Stakes and cost are related, but they are not identical. Stakes describe what might be lost if Mara does nothing. Cost describes what she must give up by acting. The charge at sunrise is the stake. The threatened orchard is the cost. A believable decision usually needs both, pressure toward the action and resistance against it. Notice what has not changed. Mara still enters the greenhouse. She still takes the ledger. The next chapter still begins with the same discovery. We changed 0 plot facts. We repaired knowledge, pressure, and cost. The third question is causality. Does this scene happen because of the one before it? The lawyer's deadline creates the need. The maintenance note creates the method. Mara's history with the orchard creates the cost. Each piece points into the greenhouse scene. Nothing is decorative, and nothing arrives as an emergency explanation after the reader has already stopped believing. Try reading the chain backward. Mara finds the ledger because she enters the greenhouse. She enters because she chooses to cut the circuit. She accepts that cost because the charge happens at sunrise. If one step cannot answer because of what, That gap is a better repair target than a new twist. Inside Booksey, the useful workflow is to put the scene beside the story context. What Mara knows, what she wants, what the chapter must change, and which promises the draft has already made. Then diagnose the smallest missing reason before asking for more prose. For this demo, the scene context becomes 4 lines. Goal: recover the altered ledger before sunrise. Knowledge: the West alarm circuit resets after 9 minutes in heavy rain. Cost: cutting the circuit endangers the orchard. Change: Mara chooses her brother over her father's legacy. That is enough to rewrite the entrance without inventing a tunnel, a guard, or a second conspiracy. You can run the same test without any tool. Take the scene you distrust and write 4 lines beside it. Immediate goal, relevant knowledge, cost of acting, and the change created by the scene. Then cross out every detail that does not influence the choice. What remains is the scene's engine. Booksey gives that context a structured home, but the author still decides which reason belongs in the story. When a plot event feels impossible, use this order. First, check knowledge. Could the character understand the choice? Second, check desire. Would they accept the cost? Third, check causality. Did the previous scene create the need? Only after those 3 checks should you add a new event. The takeaway is simple: repair the reason before you expand the plot. If you have a scene that does not quite add up, review the real problem at booksey.io/improve my draft.